Good morning. There's no better way to start this than good morning. Another day, another year, another restart, another new direction, another what if. I don't know about you, but when I do a New Year's resolution in the past, it's always been, well, I'd like to give up a little few things, that I don't really need, like a few pounds perhaps. Stop eating those cookies that the kids like to eat, and I eat them first, and they get mad because I eat them first. Stop being that guy, yes. And, we're getting there, Dave. And coffee. Let me just say, right now I'm up to 4 pots of coffee a day. Oh yeah, I drink a lot of coffee.
That's a lot of coffee.
Oh, that's way more coffee than perhaps a man of my age and yeah. You should even consider having, I suppose. But yeah, but there's that kind of a resolution. And last week I had a discussion with a friend of mine who sits in the back, who said, you might want to cut down some. And I'm thinking, well, I like coffee. But I cut down. I did. I went from 4 pots to 3 pots. And then I slowly but surely crept back up to 4 pots of coffee again. Because that's the human in me. That's what we all do it. We set these goals every year on the first or the New Year's Eve night, and on the first you kiss your wife, Happy New Year, I'm not going to do this anymore. And 3 days later, I thought you said you weren't going to do that anymore. Well, things happen, and you got all these excuses and reasons why. And I used to say my cholesterol is so high, but if I stopped eating the stuff that makes my cholesterol high, I would die. Well, it's the opposite was supposed. It just didn't work out so well, as I had a stent put in now, and had aneurysms fixed, things like that. Little things that remind you that stuff's not really good for you. But it's still, as a human being, thinking, I know better than that's not going to happen to me kind of attitude. And then the next thing you know, it's happened, and wow, maybe I should have stopped doing that stuff. But what we're going to talk about today, mostly for resolutions, is biblical resolutions. Oh yeah, there's references in the Bible all through it. You just Google it, the word resolution, and you can find all kinds of stuff in there. Philippians, Galatians, and all through the Bible. It mentions different things that you can do. I wrote down a few of them today. I usually don't write a lot of notes, but today I wrote a whole page. And today, I want to talk about the biggest one that's on here, but I'm going to just read a few of them that I have here. And one of them is to read the Bible more and to reflect on those scriptures. That'd be a good one to do this year, if you haven't been doing it, because sometimes when you read a verse, or you think you understand it, then you read it again and it comes back out a little different again. And you read it again and it's different again because it's a living Bible. It's a for every occasion kind of thing. And it's just amazing how it works. But to read the Bible more and to understand it better, at least in your own mind. Then to resolve to commit to the church more. That's what I talked about earlier this morning. To be committed. No, I don't mean you have to be here every second. Or be committed every minute, or, whatever. I mean, life is life. But as a family, we could be committed in that way. We could say, I'll go to Darlene from time to time, but I don't want to be a pain, so I don't want to be, overbearing, so to speak, to find out different situations that are going on and stuff. But at the same time, it shows somebody is, kind of cares a little bit. And that's a good thing to do, too. Another one is to be thankful. Well, I don't know how many times I've been saying it since June when we bought our house and finally went through it. I mean, I have a house that I can play in now. I got a big place. And it's costing me a lot more money to eat now, but I'm still thankful because I have the room to be able to do things like worship team practice or whatever the church might need, And I have the ability, not the ability, but the capability to be able to do that because I had a 2-bedroom trailer in Medway, and I don't think that would have worked too good. In the living room, that would be like sitting over there in that corner all by ourselves and trying to get 6, 7 grown people in that one little place would be kind of like tight. But now we got all kinds of room. And we've got a big couch and a dog that likes to bark a lot. But anyway, that's another story for another day. Another one that I wrote down is the resolve to kill sin. That's going to go along with the one I'm going to focus on the most. But the resolve to kill sin. I like that word, kill sin. Don't just kick it out, you kill it. That's, anything that's in your closet that shouldn't be there, get rid of it. Just like I got rid of some shirts that I thought still fit me. It's amazing when you get bigger how things look a lot smaller on you. Well, that shirt fit me last year. I don't now. So you clean it out, get out of it. Same way with sin. You know that you're doing something, and it's, again, goes back to, like, I don't want to use any real bad examples because we have kids in the room, but I'll say smoking, for example. You know it's bad for you, and it's hard to get rid of it, too. I mean, that is the toughest thing that I ever had to give up was that. But you keep working at it. And again, to be committed to the church, going back to that other one, you got other people to talk to, like, hey, Jesse, I'm having a hard time today about smoking. He can come over there and, shake me and throw me around a little bit and make me understand that that's not as good for me as as it should be. So, little things like that, but we can count on each other. But to just to get rid of the stuff that's in your closet, that's hidden, that you think God can't see. No, newsflash, God can see everything. Yeah, even when you think you can't. Even when you turn the lights off. Isn't that amazing? He's the first guy to have night vision. But the one I want to concentrate on the most, and the one that I think is most important today, if I can get rid of this thing because it's bugging me. Sorry. I'm French, I got to walk around a little bit. The one I want to concentrate on the most today is holiness living. You say, well, yeah. But you can do kingdom living now. You say, like, I've heard people say, oh man, I hope when I die I'm going to go to heaven. Well, you don't have to wait to die to go to heaven, so to speak. You can get like a preemptive kind of thing going on. And you say like, okay, I'm going to start being more Christ-like. I'm going to change my life entirely and focus on what God says. Filter it through the cross every single day. Now, I heard that filtering through the cross thing from Phil. And it's true. If you filter every decision you make, and it sounds kind of funny, but I don't know if I want to buy these jeans today or not. Let me pray about it for a minute. It might sound funny when you say something like that, but hey, it might be your last $20 you got in your pocket. You don't know. Something like that. But bring Christ into everything. Then you can have kingdom living that way. Be good to your neighbors. Be good to yourself. Be good to all the things around you. Be thankful. Be assertive. Be firm with your beliefs. Don't waver. That's kingdom living. And you don't have to die to go to heaven to be that. That's kind of like I said, it's like a preview of what's to come. We went to Swans Island, Phil and I did, speaking of him. And we preached on that for 3 nights in 3 different churches, 3 different denominations. And you know what the result was of that? Amazing. Because that's the big thing. To be acceptable to whatever Jesus wants us to do every single day. You cannot go through your life and not know Jesus and think in your little mind that you're going to go somewhere big, because that's just not going to happen. You got to remember, He knows everything anyway. He knows everything before you even open your mouth. He knows what's going to happen ahead of time. He's just waiting for you to make that right choice. That's one of the songs I like to sing the most is the song about choices, and how this guy sang, George Jones sang of this song about that, and this guy makes these choices, and he's regretting it because he made the wrong choices. But the thing is, if you accept Jesus, all that stuff is gone. You don't have to bring it all back up, because kingdom living is you don't worry about what happened back then. What are you now? Where are you now with Jesus? I mean, what is your focus? Is it Jesus, or is it football, baseball? Things that would take your mind off of what the whole thing is. And this one is especially important this week, especially right now, this very day. This is the beginning of the new year. If you think you've had a lousy year and you're focused on all the bad things that happened last year, and you're bringing all that stuff into 2023, you're going to have a battle to start with, because you've got to dump all that stuff and get rid of it. You can't drag that around with you. God doesn't do that. When you say, I give this to you, it's gone. You don't bring it back and say, oh, I want to look at this one some more. That's not how it works. You give it all to Christ, and it's done. Same way right now, today, this very day. I'm going to beat that to death today, because today, the very first day of the year, what an awesome time to turn your life around if you're not really all that committed yet. What an awesome way to do it, too, with people in this room. Together. We could strengthen each other together. We don't have to be alone in this. Never alone anyway. God's with you. Jesus is right there with you every single step. But it sure is nice to be able to reach on the phone and say, hey, Dave, I've been thinking this weird thing today. And Dave would say, well, don't think that way. Well, it's kind of like that. I'm kind of elaborating a little bit, but we discuss things. See what the best move's going to be. Is this going to work? It will or not work. I'm building that room right now for our, what do you call it? The music studio is what we're making right now. And we're trying to lay out a design so it will fit in my garage and still have the car to go in and that kind of thing. It's little, stuff. It's minor stuff. It's nothing to do with God per se, but it's kind of like that idea. It's like, I don't know, should I make it like this? Should I go like that? And Dave's had experience with carpentry and stuff, so it's kind of nice to say, well, no, that wouldn't work because it would fall down on here. I don't want it to fall. And the same way with faith. I got a question. I don't know where to go. I looked in the Bible, I've read the scriptures, I know what it says, but I really still don't quite get it. Then you talk to somebody who's gone through that, or you talk to somebody else who's gone through that same phase of life, so to speak, because I'm old, I've been through a lot of phases. But when you talk to somebody, and then things start to make a little bit of sense, because, well, okay, maybe I misinterpreted a word or whatever, because with the scriptures you have to be very, very, very sure. Is that what God's word really was? Or is that what some Bob, Bill, or Betty down the road put in? There's that too. But to get back to the point is, you just got to remember, if you keep committed that way. And that's what kingdom living's all about. Because when we die, if we all go to heaven, we're all going to be where? Together, talking about all this stuff together. The only difference is, now we're with God. And his son Jesus and the Holy Spirit filling us full of everything, because that's the outcome that we are looking for. It's hard to live kingdom living nowadays. It really is. It's hard. And it's not easy. That's, again, brings us back to the commitment of the church, commitment of the group that we're in. Because, even if you got a friend in another church, call them. You don't have to be just exclusively, oh, well, I can't believe you called that pastor before you called me. This is not a game. It's not some popularity contest. Are you getting fed what you need to be fed in order to continue on with what you got to be doing? And if that means that you got to talk to somebody different to get to where you're going to go, which is heaven, then by all means, please do. That's not my place to stop you, or their place to stop you. Either way. The point is, kingdom living is living through the Word every single day. And like I said before, it's hard today because you got social media, you got cell phones that continuously make your day miserable. If you don't want it to ring, it does. And when you want it to ring, it won't. One of them deals. We're so tied up with all this other stuff that takes the focus off of what we really need to be, and that's Him. So perhaps the biggest resolution that this congregation or this group can do is we're going to focus more on what Jesus wants us to do. Yeah, Pastor Bruce might have said something a little wild. Maybe I want to look into that, make sure, it's not too wild, that's a good thing to do too. But that's kingdom living, because we have to account for each other. We have to be accountable. We can't just fly by the seat of our pants and say, whoa, I said this is what it is, and that's it. No, that's not how it works. What it says in the Bible is what it says. And did I interpret it the correct way? That's on me to figure out. Did I say it right? Am I telling you the right stuff? And that's where we all come back in again with that commitment of the church, is we're accountable to each other. Yes, Bruce made a mistake this morning. He was called on it. He what do you call it when you retracted his statement?
Redacted.
Yeah, redacted his statement with big black pencils. That's a new thing now, the redacted thing. Oh yeah, I'll give you the whole report. It's all redacted. Well, anyway, But that's what it's about. And then I go, okay, I misunderstood that. I always thought it was this, or I always thought it was that. But the point was, made the effort to change it. To keep us all on the same page. To keep us all on the same trails. To keep us all on the same, the boat's going in the right direction. That's what I'm calling for today. For a resolution for this church, this congregation, this group, we're going to keep going, and we're going to do the best we can with what we have, and God will make this thing grow when it's time. Because numbers don't mean a whole lot, really. You're not going to save everybody anyway. That's not how it goes either. God said you're not going to get us all. But he does want to reach out to the ones that are ready. That's what we want to do. That's where we come in. I didn't know who that guy was this morning that came in here. She mentioned it. I went out. I thought, he was looking for somebody in particular, and then he couldn't find out what happened. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I gotta admit, it kind of made me feel pretty bad. And I'm still praying in my heart of hearts right now that situation does work out for him. But this is why we're here. That's kingdom living. I mean, I could have just said, oh, okay, left it at that. But no, that's not what God wants us to do. The guy was hurting. We went out. Jesse and I both went out. We talked to him. But kingdom living means we care enough for each other, too, that we all want to get to heaven. That's not, well, I'm going to get to heaven, but you can't because, because there's some congregations in this world right now that will say there's only going to be 110,000 or whatever it was. I remember the number now. That you guys are going to get to go, the rest of us are just doing this for nothing. I don't think so. I beg to differ on that. But we're not going to be that kind. We're not there. That's not us. But resolutions, we get back to resolutions. Today, we could make a resolution as a whole right now. To commit more. And it doesn't even have to be time-wise. It could be in any kind of form. Food donations, calls, making sure that people that are in the hospital, that other people know that person's in the hospital. I mean, I found out things afterwards. It's like, wow, I wish I'd have known. I'd have been there. I'm going to let it see them or something. So that kind of thing. Just kind of be committed that way. Time-wise, I want to commit more time to this now that I have a better schedule on hand than Brenda's up to with her new job, which, by the way, that was another thing I'm thanking God for. But commitment. Can't grow if we're not committed. And I'm not saying growing is the main thing, but we're not going to reach anybody else if we can't fix us first, I guess. You can't be your own doctors, so to speak, either, basically. But we have others in our midst, Phil, Alan, and people like that can verify or not verify, but just kind of substantiate. Well, I can't even say the word now. I had it in my tongue too. But make it so that we understand that we're all on the same chair. They've got a lot of experience. I counted it the other night. I got 22 years of ministry. That seems like that. I mean, I didn't think it was that much. What's that?
Verify and validate.
Yeah, let's verify and validate, basically. But we have those options, and that's what you do as a kingdom living group too. So we don't have to die to do all that stuff. You know what it feels like to have God fill your heart? I know what it feels like the day that I accepted Him into my heart. And you know what even bigger joy is? To see somebody else that hadn't even known Jesus do it. That's why I'm here. I don't want money. I don't need power. I don't need to stand up here and do this all the time. I can sit in the back row and be just as happy as punch. Open the door and say, hey, pass out coffee. If I can do that. That's my thing. I'll have coffee. But God's called me to do something a little bit different. And I used to think that I was just a musician. And I used to think I was going to do this. I used to think I was going to do that. But as you get older and as your walk with Christ gets more intense, you figure out that God's got a plan for you all along anyway. You just had to stop kicking your heels in and just let Him do it. If I don't listen to Him when I'm supposed to listen to Him a long time ago, who knows where I'd be. But that wasn't that time. But our resolution today is mostly this: let's become more kingdom living, more focused on the godly things of the world and not the stuff that we think is important, like cars, trucks, money, power, Don't even mention power. What's that?
It says Facebook.
Yeah, and Facebook, yes.
Especially for you.
You and I are going to talk about that.
Internet, social media.
And don't forget kids that like to make comments too while you're at it. Well, anyway, but let's do that. Let's make that our resolution for this group. Yeah, we got just a few of us here. Yeah, we don't have that big congregation like some of the other churches do. But I will say this, not to knock on the churches, but they are having just as much of an issue with attendance as we are, primarily because of the times. Because things aren't good out there. They just aren't. And if you read that final book. Read that. A lot of it's code, yes. A lot of it they're still trying to decipher what this is, what that might be, and what these might symbolize. But for the most part, the general gist of Revelation is this. It's going to get tough, and it's going to get tough fast, and we're all going to suffer. Not just the bad guys, but the Christians too as well. Not saying I'm good, but I'm just saying. But you know what I mean. We're all going to be in that boat. It's all going to happen to everybody. And God will sort it all out afterwards. So yeah, you're not escaping nothing by just sitting in the sidelines doing nothing. Get more proactive. Be more involved. Be part of the kingdom of God now, and don't wait until then. So in closing, I'd like to propose that I, personally, will say that I'm going to strive for this kingdom living. I liked it then when Phil and I had come up with it. I liked the aspects of it. I liked the way that the sermons were encompassed around it. I liked the fact that a 10-year-old kid stood up, in fact, and he said, you know what? I like this kingdom living. And the kid didn't know either one of us. Imagine two ugly guys like me and Phil going to Swan's Island. Never been there ever in my life. Never ate lobster until that day. That was like 5-6 years ago now. It was the first time I ever ate lobster, and they thought I was crazy because I never did. I said, I'm from Aroostook County. We grow potatoes, that's it. He said, oh, well, then you're in for a treat. He said, you got any potatoes? I said, no, but I'll go buy some if I need to. But, you know, one of those years. But the fact was, that was an example of kingdom living. There was a Baptist, a Pentecostal church, and a non-denominational church on the island. The only 3 places to worship on that whole island. And they never talked to each other at all until that day. And we showed up and dragged them around in different churches. And we had services in all 3 churches. We started off, I remember which one it was, but we ended up at the last one. And what a phenomenal time. Because we preached about, we're not the denomination, we're God's creation.
Amen.
And that's what we want to be. We want to be kingdom living people now. So let's do that this year. Let's focus on that this year as we progress. I'm not sure who's in line next as far as the sermons are concerned. I'll have to check again to make sure I don't want to step anybody or whatever. But I think it is. I think so. And then after that, we're going to have more fun. But anyway, that's a story for another day. But anyway, so today, let's leave here with the fact that, yeah, we might be small in number, but we're going to be big in the kingdom living conditions. And we're going to really shoot for the stars because that's what God wants us to do. Everybody in this room has a special part in this. Every now and then I just see these things. I don't know what it is. Well, I've been seeing these weird things lately. No, it's not because of my medication, because I take a lot of that too. Nothing to do with that. But I see things that this group can get involved in, because this group could really get a hold on. I don't know how many more people that's going to produce. I don't know. But God just says keep going. So here we are. We're going to keep going. So in closing, we are very, very, very happy to be here. At least I am anyway. And I am very, very happy that this group is continuing on, because there's nothing I like better than to do what he tells me to do. So keep that in mind. So next week, before we come back, be thinking about things that will help us become more kingdom living, so we don't have to be disconnected. Let's get connected. And before I do close, I forgot one more thing. I don't know if anybody has seen these yet, but these are cards of our fellowship on it. And on the back, it has the recovering sinner, 10 ways to recover as a sinner. It's the 10 Commandments, which is pretty cool. The 10-step program called it. It's pretty cool. And so anybody that wants any of these and that, so we'll have that for, and just, like I said, I wasn't what do you call it, I didn't have these in my possession at the time I went outside, but we'll make sure Steve gets one next time I see him, because I'm thinking we're gonna run into him again too, so that'd be cool. Yes, sir.
I think as you're talking about resolve.